no, Nigeria is not supporting any of the countries. Neither are we supporting Russia or we are supporting Ukraine. Nigeria is neutral. Nigeria wants peace, and peace we must look for. And peace is not about taking sides. If you take sides, that means there can never be peace. Because if you take sides, other countries take sides with the other country, then everybody keep giving a boost to the other country. There can never be peace. The war will prolong and keep on going for a very long time. And so we need to fight towards reconciliation. We need to work towards reconciliation, mediation.
I have one more question, which is completely different. So sorry for changing the topic, but I really wonder about this one. The war in Europe, which is in the Western media all over the place, Ukraine, Russia, and what's happening between the US and so on. Looking at this from Nigeria, what are your thoughts? What do you think should be happening? And is there pressure on Nigerian politicians from the West or from Russia to actually take a position?
There have always been pressure from the West for African countries to take a position. But you see, when it comes to the Nigerian situation, we are different, and we don't really have to take a position. It is written in our constitution in terms of our foreign policy, of the objectives and directive principles, that we will stand for world peace. And that world peace does not mean we will support a country against another country or support another country. What we need and what we tell countries, especially countries in discord, is the fact that you need to talk. You need to look for ways to resolve your issues, and that's exactly what I expect from the superpowers. Instead of propping up a government or supporting a particular country against another, I think we all need to talk about peace. The whole idea of the United Nations wasn't to support a country. It was for world peace. And in war, and if you're looking for peace and you're biased, it's not going to come. And so many African countries are actually not in support of any of the countries. They are very neutral on their stand. And that is why some couple of weeks ago, a group of presidents, South African, the Comoros, and they all went to this Eastern Europe, to discuss with Russia and discuss with Ukraine to look for solutions to their problems, And so the war in itself, irrespective, everybody is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
It has created more of food insecurity, especially with regards to grains that are not actually finding their ways into many countries. The cost of food that is made from flour and grains, they are very expensive right now. So the war is actually impacting on every country negatively. And so your question is that if we are supporting, no, Nigeria is not supporting any of the countries. Neither are we supporting Russia or we are supporting Ukraine. Nigeria is neutral. Nigeria wants peace, and peace we must look for. And peace is not about taking sides. If you take sides, that means there can never be peace. Because if you take sides, other countries take sides with the other country, then everybody keep giving a boost to the other country. There can never be peace. The war will prolong and keep on going for a very long time. And so we need to fight towards reconciliation. We need to work towards reconciliation, mediation. Now, you talked about whether the non-alignment and non-aligned nature of Nigeria's foreign policy. Nigeria's foreign policy is non-alignment in a way. But if you listen to the speech of our prime minister in 1962, while he mentioned that Africa would take the pride of place in Nigeria's foreign policy, it would take first place in Nigeria's foreign policy, he also stated Nigeria is going to be non-aligned. But when it has to do with the issues of Africa, Nigeria will be aligned. When it has to do with issues of peace and security, global peace and security in Nigeria will be aligned. So Nigeria will stand with countries that are looking for peace, that are in support of peace. So Nigeria will not stand with countries that are actually instigating war and pushing for war.
I am so happy to hear that. If you said anything like that in Europe, most people in Western Europe will call you a Putin puppet, because you're not in favor of supporting their side, which they equate with supporting the other side. And that's this is absolutely the wrong approach. What you just said is so completely right, to try to find solutions, and therefore you have to be neutral, right? You cannot take one side and expect the other one to still listen to you. So I really hope that the African countries, and also together with the others like India, and maybe also like China to a good extent, although the China is being framed in a very particular way, but push for solving the issue instead of taking sides. I don't know why it's so hard to make Americans and Europeans understand that, but they really have this problem that they're caught into, we're the good side, the Russians are the bad side, and I'm glad the Africans are rejecting that framing. So we need neutrality and non-alignment more than ever. So I would hope that Nigeria and others can champion the concept again.
We will consistently hold tenaciously to peace. We have more problems in Africa to worry about what is happening in Eastern Europe, with regards to war.
Yes.
It's affecting us. Part of the war is actually affecting us in many more ways than we could think, And so why are we going to keep supporting the war? Why will Africa support either of the parties to continue the war? The most important thing is to look for peace.
Yes.
We need world peace. And so I think I hope the West actually try to look at things from a different perspective, that in as much as they hold their interest with sacrosanct, they should also understand that the developing world too have an interest to protect, which is economic growth, which is to fight against poverty, fighting against insecurity. They should also look this way and see how they could remedy the situation, which is a greater war than the scourge of poverty, which is a greater war than the scourge of insecurity ravaging the whole of Africa. So I think we need to change our perception and conception of international relations, or with regards to issues of war and peace.
You're absolutely right, and I do hope that African countries and African experts like yourself can help the West and the Russians to see the world from a third perspective, which I believe is quite important. Dr. Ubi, I would like to thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking with you.